Hi everyone, this is the Billiards Doctor. Today I want to talk about the mental game of pool. So we all know that pool is not just about hitting the cue straight and making the shot and doing this and doing that. There's also a very strong mental aspect of the game that comes into huge effect. Especially in big games, heated shots, big tournaments, especially, we feel that pressure, whether it's the pressure as the underdog who's playing the best player or the pressure as the best player who should never lose to this underdog, you have that pressure and that can really, really affect your game. So after playing in many tournaments, many big tournaments especially, and watching a lot of players play and talking to players and watching interviews with players, there are a lot of different ways that I've come up with that you can cope with the stress and the nerves of playing pool. So the first thing that I would highly recommend is, at least for me, like people have their different ways of playing, but you need to focus. Like that's the thing, like focus. And what focusing means is you go back to the fundamentals. You focus on every aspect of your shot, everything you've learned, all the techniques you've done, all the repetition you've done in your shot, and you go back to that. If you're missing an easy shot, you need to take a second to realign your feet, re-get down in your stance, take a deep breath, make sure your elbow's in the right position, do the correct follow through, all that stuff. You need to make sure all of that is correct, because if you're doing all of that, you're going back to the fundamentals and you're doing what you've always done, then it's much easier compared to just going down and just shooting the balls around and be like, I don't know why I'm missing these shots. Well, that could be the biggest reason. So for me especially, whenever I'm not playing well, it usually is a combination of factors. It could be that I'm dropping my elbow. Like that's something where if I get lazy, I start dropping my elbow. It could be that I'm rushing the shot. I'm shooting it too fast. I just want to get over with. I just want to shoot and get it off. So I just take an extra second to take a deep breath when you're down on the shot. That might help. The third thing is I'm standing up too early on my shot. So after I hit the ball, I'm already standing up. So when I'm down, I make the shot, and as I'm shooting, I'm kind of standing up. I'm getting ready to move to the next ball. And that's a really bad habit to get into, and I do that sometimes when I'm nervous or just want the game to be over. I want this to hurry up, take the shot, and I'll stand up early. So what I do in that situation is I'll shoot and I'll keep the Q-tip down. I'll count to 2. So those are a couple things. Obviously, confidence is a big deal. And obviously, having confidence in yourself and having that strong confidence is really important to potting balls. So when you're shooting, always be positive. And I know this is very cliche, but if you miss a ball, you gotta forget about it. You cannot let it get in your head. I've seen multiple players who are really good professionals, like Jason Shaw, Rustin Chinnikov, some of these guys, who they miss a ball and it gets in their head and they'll lose the game because they've lost their focus. They'll have a bad break, all of a sudden, like it'll go downhill. It'll be the turning point of the game. So you can't let that happen to you. If you miss a shot, you gotta forget about it. That being said, if you're not playing well, there's something that you should not do. Something that you should not do is you should not start to, well, it depends on your playing style, but if you're like me and you're very focused and you play well when you're focused in your zone, which is what most players are like, then what you shouldn't do is start talking to people, right? If you're missing shots, the worst thing you want to do is start to talk with the crowd, or talk with a fan or talk with your opponent. You don't want to be doing stuff like that. It's going to throw you off your game. I remember I played in the collegiate league. I played a guy from Harvard who he was really nice, but he knew how focused I am. He tried to get me off my game. So he was kind of talking with his friends. He was telling jokes. I was kind of laughing in, and I didn't play very well because I wasn't focused. So he played his strength. That was smart of him. That's the mental game he got in my mental game. So being able to know, like, I gotta focus. I gotta don't be rude, but like at the same time, like, make sure you're in your zone and stay in that zone. Don't take shots for granted. But like I said, going back to the fundamentals is really important. Obviously, getting a good warm-up in is also very important. Getting a good warm-up in, having confidence in the table, confidence in yourself and shooting the balls is really helpful before the match starts. You don't want to go in the match not knowing the tables, then you get frustrated, right? You want to go in the match pocketing everything you did in the warm-ups, but okay, I know I can pocket these balls. The pockets aren't that tight. I can do this. So getting a good warm-up, for me, I like to do a warm-up where I take a lot of straight long shots and I hit them pretty hard and I just slam them in the pocket. I do it over and over again to get confidence that I can hit these balls in the pocket, because for me at least that's the biggest thing is like sometimes I'm nervous, like, oh, are the pockets really tight, you know, is it going to be hard for me, am I going to be able to draw really far on these tight pockets, or am I going to bobble the pockets every time? So having that confidence is really important. But like I said, going back to the fundamentals is always the key thing to do. The last thing I want to talk about is usually during a big tournament, you know, you get one timeout. And if you're playing bad, like you're missing stuff and he's just running out, doing a timeout is probably pretty smart. Use your timeout, go wash your hands, you know, take a deep breath, switch gloves if you need to, you know, wash your face, throw water on your face, like do something so you can kind of get a fresh start. I mean, for me, when I'm playing bad, I like to take my glove off, I'll go wash my hands, I'll put on a different glove. It's kind of like a new start for me. I'll do that, that'll help me. I'll go and get a drink of water. I'll do something that'll like give me a second to like, this is a fresh me. Like I had a bunch of bad shots in a row. This is a fresh me. I'm gonna do better now. And the last thing to do is that if you're ever playing, I guess two more things. If you're playing your opponent and he's on fire and he is just unstoppable, like you're playing 9-ball and you get one shot and he runs out every time and it's just consistently like that, you gotta play defensively. You got to get him off his game. This is like the mental aspect reversed. This mental aspect of your opponent. Like people get on a hot streak. Their confidence goes ways up. They pot everything. They're on fire. You got to get them off that. You got to get them to cool down. And all you're going to do that is by playing safety shots. So if you're playing a really good player and he's just on fire, you got to start playing some safety shots to slow him down a little bit. You want to get him off his groove. And the last thing is, if you ever make a crazy shot, like you make a crazy bank, or you just do something that you make the 9-ball off a fluke and you're just super excited, a good thing to do is to take a timeout or to take a little extra time to take a deep breath, because I've seen so many times where players made a really nice shot, like unbelievable, or they didn't think it would go in and it went in, and they're just surprised and they're just excited and they're happy, and they go up to the next shot and they miss it because they're so excited about the previous shot they weren't really thinking. So taking that time after you make a really big shot like that to just catch your breath, relax, you know, let yourself calm back down so you can focus on the next shot is really important. So those are my tips about the mental game. Feel free to send me, of course, for any of the videos. Feel free to send me, you know, questions that you have about any of this stuff. I'd be happy to answer them. But this is the Billiards Doctor. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.